What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today we're going to talk about Luong, an absolutely insane waifu for many players out there that actually does have a fairly high fan base, which is actually pretty cool. And she looks absolutely amazing, guys. Just like what I said with Leona, the aesthetics of this particular character are absolutely wonderful. She's got the seductive thing going on big time. She looks wonderful. I think pretty much anybody would fall for her. I mean, she just looks lovely. My God. Plus all her mannerisms, the things that she's doing, yeah, very, very nice. Now today, guys, I'm going to be showing you just how powerful of a support she is, because that really is what she is for. That's really why people would want to use her, because, I mean, she does have good damage, and I'll probably show that in another video. I just don't have her built up for that at this particular point, because I pretty much figure that most players are just going to use her as support, as we'll get into why in a little bit. But her leadership, guys, increased extreme fighter attack by 45% and increased male fighter critical damage by 55% is really wonderful for male fighters. I actually have tested this versus like Athena's leadership for the increased EX fighters by 50% and increased critical damage by 35%, or Iori's or Taki's. And this leadership for at least Iori for a male fighter was better. Not by a tremendous margin, but it did seem to be better, especially against Nightmare Geese. All right, so I do want to throw it out there, guys. Her leadership is very, very good, but it's only for males. And when you look at the character, the rest of her kit, she does have a lot of nice little things with the increased damage by 30% on critical hit, which gives herself some good damage, the extra critical rate. But the increased critical damage by 100% for 12 seconds upon landing an attack on a shocked enemy is very nice for her own damage. Deals burn damage with a 5% attack upon landing an attack on a shocked enemy. Again, very good for her because she does have burn, and then gains damage immunity for 6 seconds if HP is 30% or less on a 9-second cooldown. Every other 3 seconds, guys, she's going to have this immunity up. She is one tanky girl. Very, very hard to kill. Holy crap, she is a pain. And if the enemy has both Wild Sister and Shocking Sister, which is her first skill and third skill effects applied, both effects are removed and Cool Sister is applied for 20 seconds. So what you always want to do is you want to have the first and third skill applied at the same time. That way you get the Cool Sister, and you get this decreased attack by 90% and defenses by 80%. Decreased defenses by 80% is insane. And then increased enemies damage received by 100%, which is also insane. Guys, at level 90, she has this. She doesn't need to be leveled up for this. And this is a big thing, big reason why she's such an insane support. Increased damage received by 100% is godly. And I'll show you guys that in a run compared to, say, another character that does give increased damage received. And it is pretty massive, guys, as far as the amount of damage difference that you're going to have. And then she also casts a critical hit shield that absorbs damage for 7 seconds of attack when HP is 8% or less. So not only does she have the 6-second damage immunity, but she also has this shield. This is, I mean, the girl, seriously, guys, she doesn't die. Like, even, say her immunity isn't up, maybe she'll have that shield up, right? She just won't take any damage. It's just really bonkers kit, man, really bonkers. Now, when it comes to her EX core, guys, you can either give her increase to blast skills by 50% or increase to strike skills by 50%, which makes her very versatile for multiple characters. That is actually really, really good. And that's why I say she's mainly going to be used as support. When you have her at A5, that's what you're going to unlock, right? And then her first skill, does deal burn damage, which is awesome. It also decreases defense by 60% on top of the decreased defenses from her core. Right? It's just another reason why she's going to be, so insane. Now, this is only for 5 seconds, but still, that is nice. And then her second skill is a charge skill. The first time you hit it, guys, you're going to get your hyper armor for 4 seconds, and it also disables all enemies' active skills for 3 seconds. That is really godly for PvP. Whenever you first hold the skill, guys, you have a 40% chance to reset the flash charging skill. You have a 40% chance of resetting the second skill, right? It also increases the critical damage of all teammates, including self, by 15% upon 10 seconds upon using a skill. So when you only hit it one time, you're going to get the increased critical damage by 15% on top of the decreased defenses that she has in her kit and her first skill, on top of the increased damage received from her core by 100%. Really, really massive buffs, guys. And then her second, if you fully charge up the second skill, then you're going to get, 100% chance to reset the skill. And so a lot of times what you'll see, like in gameplay that I'm going to do, guys, you'll always hit the first skill, hit the second skill, hold it down, and then it's going to reset, and you can build up your PG very, very fast. You want to have a 3 PG ready to go. You want to at least have 3 bars of PG ready to go before you tag her in the next round. That way you can go straight into her 3 PG, as we'll talk about why in a second. But whenever you fully charge this, it gives it increased critical damage by 25% for 20 seconds upon using skill. Now, this is really nice. The problem is, guys, you're going to find in your rotations a lot of times, she has a slow charge, and it's really difficult to get that full charge. So in the run that I'm going to show you guys today, I don't fully charge it because I really found that it really threw my rotations off as far as using a team, as far as doing more damage, because of the slow charge. If she had a really fast charge, it'd be a different story, but it's kind of a slow charge. I really should kind of change that and give her a faster charge. That way you can take full effect or take full advantage of this buff, right? So I'm only going to be getting 15% critical damage instead of 25% in the run that you're going to see, but still it's pretty insane. And then her third skill, and by the way, she can move around in her second skill, and she can move around on her third skill, which makes her pretty movable, right? No pun intended, but that's pretty damn awesome. And then, she applies Hyper Armor on her third skill. So this is something else that's pretty nutty, is that she gets Hyper Armor on her second skill, and she has Hyper Armor on her third skill. Like, again, making her very, very tanky and giving her insane survivability, guys. Just really bonkers, man. Really bonkers kit, man. Just insanity, right? Applies Shocking Sister on the enemy for 5 seconds by landing a skill. So burning enemy increases enemy shock damage received by 100%. And her shock is nuts, especially against geese, guys. It just melts those meters like nothing. It is ridiculous how fast it just destroys everything. And now her default does increase critical damage of all teammates, including yourself, by 10% for 8 seconds. This is really, really good, but you're going to find, guys, that you're not really going to use this, especially if you have a 3PG, because a 3PG can actually stall the timer. That's nice. This can too, but her 3PG can actually interrupt Geese's Raging Storm and can keep Rugal from doing the explosion. So it's actually more useful to have the 3PG instead of using the default. If you don't have the 3PG, then you would actually want to use this. So in the runs, you guys are going to see, I'm not going to use this. I'm just going to use her 3PG. Now, guys, I don't have any Imprint Stones on her because I just really want to use her as a support and really just show how good she is as a support. Right? Now, when it comes to her cores, guys, I'll talk about all this as far as, leveling up, what you should actually level up for damage in another video. But again, Heavy Blow, guys, gives increased to strike skill damage, right? So in the run that you guys saw with Leona the other day, where she had 2.5 trillion, or yesterday, this is what I had set up with strike skill. But for Iori in the runs that you're going to see today, you really want to have blast skill because his first skill does blast skill damage. So that's exactly what I have set up. Now, I am going to be running this set, and the reason I'm running this set is because I always want to have her 3PG ready whenever I drop her in. And the reason you want to have that 3PG ready is because it increases critical damage of all teammates, including self, by 15% for 10 seconds after using the 3PG. This is really nice, man. So that is nice. Now, you only have 10 seconds, so you got to be really fast. You got to break the meter at a certain speed. So right after your 3PG, guys, this 10 seconds is going to start counting down. So you want to be able to break that meter as fast as possible, so that way you get this buff on your damage dealer, in our case, Iori. That makes a big, big difference in your damage. Everything's about timing whenever you're playing with these characters. And what we're going to be doing today, guys, is we're going to be comparing Luong actually to another character that's pretty OP against Guild Raid Rugal, and that is Bison. Now, to be fully transparent with you guys, there's a big advantage when you have 3 EX fighters on a team. You get an extra 3 KOF 15 EX fighters on a team. You get an extra attack by 12%. So do keep that in mind. So in the run that you guys can see, we're going to have Athena for the leadership. We're going to have Bison, and we're going to have Iori on one team. And then on the other team, we're going to have Luong in the leadership. We're going to have Athena, and we're going to have Iori on the team. Athena's going to be on both teams. Just in one, we're going to be using her leadership, and in the other one, we're going to be using Luong's leadership, because like I said earlier, I found that Luong's leadership actually gives more damage to a character like Iori because he is a male type. Now, Bison actually was always really good because, one, he has the relevant dot poison for Guild Raid. He has a very long 3PG, and he also has weaken that increases target damage received by 30%. But also above that, in his kit, he also has increased target damage received in his kit as well, which is pretty damn nice. I think it's his third skill. Yeah, this also increases target damage received by 45% for 5 seconds. So you got 45% here. You have another 30% from his EX core, but remember, this is only for a 5-second period. So again, it's all about timing. But whenever you have the relevant dot like poison here, it's not that difficult to actually, apply this and then bring in your damage dealer, in our case Iori, and start doing a ton of damage. So let's do the little damage comparison and see what happens here, guys, as far as the run is concerned. Now, on the left side, guys, you're going to see that we are using Bison, and on the right side, we're using Luong, right? And I'm just going to show you guys just the difference in damage between these two. Remember, on the right side, we have 3 KOF EX fighters. That gives us an extra 12% attack. Do keep that in mind. We do have that advantage, but we're also using Luong's leadership, and we're using her buffs on the right side. Whereas on the left side, we're using Athena's leadership, and we're going to be using Bison's buffs, right? And yeah. And the difference in damage is really nutty. Now, a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but I definitely get comments about players saying, well, what is the point of doing all these high damage scores? What is the point of having these characters? Well, the thing about characters that are supports is that you can use them in other game modes. It doesn't have to be necessarily always in Guild Raid or Colossal Boss Dungeon. They can actually be used in Tower Trials. They can be used in Time Attack because of the extra damage. And especially, like, say, against like the new Time Attack that we have, having a character that gives an extra support, gives a lot of extra damage, really can help you tremendously, especially if you don't have a very leveled up character. If you have even a level 90 Luong, it can really help out because she can give that extra increased damage received by 100% and decreased defenses by 90%. That is really, really golden, even with the extra critical damage that she can throw out. And you guys can see the difference in damage already between these two fights. Again, we do have an extra 12% attack on the right side because we have the team formation of KOF 15 EX fighters. Okay, I really want to stress that because that does make a difference, but the amount of difference in damage between these two runs really does go to show you that her buffs are really making more of a difference than just having that extra 12% attack, right? I tried setting up to where I had 3 EX fighters for both of these, but it was really, really difficult, to be perfectly honest, guys, because I'm trying to break the meter at a certain time. I'm trying to get it timed perfectly. And also something to know, guys, in both these runs, I'm always ending on Athena. And the reason I end on Athena is because she has decreased defense stones on her, and they only last for 5 seconds. So as long as I end on her in both of these runs, it'll keep things a little bit more fair between them, right? You'll see I use Athena there on the left with Bison, and then I break in Iori and start doing tons and tons of damage. Right now, I'm not going to show the whole run, at least as far as the left side, guys, but this is it's pretty nutty, guys, the amount of difference in damage, as you all can see. Right now, Luong's animations are so gorgeous, and let's be honest, guys, who wouldn't want to be the character that's getting beat up by her when she's doing her 3PG? Hint, hint, wink, wink. I mean, who wouldn't want to be that person? I mean, it's quite nice. It's quite nice. Let me tell you, right? I mean, 56 billion on the left side, right? 256 billion, something around there, right? Now look at the right side, 626 billion, right? We did over double the damage on the right side, and 12% attack wouldn't make up that much of a difference. It would not give you double the damage. So it just goes to show you guys that using her leadership and using her buffs makes all the difference in the amount of power that she's going to put out, in the amount of damage that she's going to do or help you do with your characters. She can really, like, for all of us that have Shanae, for all of us that have Iori, right, or any male fighters like Rugal or whoever, she is really going to be a godsend for those characters, and that's really the main reason you really want to pick her up, guys. Having a character like this can be very, very useful, and she'll hold her relevance for a long, long time. Look at Athena. Look at Athena. We're still using Athena all the damn time, even at like level 90, guys. And it's going to be the same situation with Luong. We're still going to be using her over and over and over in these runs because, we want to show off, we want to get these high scores, but that's really the only reason we're doing it as far as Guild Raid is concerned. That's really the only reason we're doing it, right? We don't need to score, a trillion and all this ridiculous 2 trillion or 3 trillion or whatever the score may be. We don't need to do that. It is cool to see but we don't really need to do that because we only need 1.25 billion. And I'm really praying that KOF, Netmarble, I'm really praying that they do some adjustments and change this to where they make it more relevant for us to score these high scores. That would be awesome, guys. It really would. It really would honestly help the game tremendously. And yeah, I mean, and I'm really trying to pour on as much dot as possible in this run so we can break that meter as fast as possible. It's a tricky little thing, honestly, using this team. But I'm going to go ahead and speed to the end, guys, because we don't need to watch this through the whole run. I'm just going to go all the way to the end, right? We'll just kind of do Iori's 3PG here, right? And boom. So, I mean, almost 1.4 trillion. And by the way, guys, with my Iori without Luong, I was never able to score this high at A6 with him, right? So that's pretty nutty, especially against Rugal, where we don't even have the relevant dot strike. We don't even have the relevant dots here. I mean, we got Luong, we have Athena, right? We're, you know, I mean, I am using a poison striker for Luong and Angel so that we can help break the meter, but I'm just using the dots from Luong and from Iori to really help break that meter. But it really just goes to show you guys how good of a support she really is. And I will be doing a damage run for her, trying to do a solo. And even as good a support as Luong is, you might be surprised at a video that I'm going to put out later as far as another character, wink wink, that actually can be used as support as far as increasing your damage against Rugal. But guys, Luong is really an amazing character. She's always going to hold her relevance. She's always going to be important for all of us. She looks absolutely beautiful. And the fact that she can buff up all of your characters, you know, female or male, but male specifically, especially because of her leadership, is really just a godsend for a lot of players. So guys, let me know what you think about Luong. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GG+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See everybody. Take care.